Fam, what's going on? It's Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube. Can I get a roll tide inside the comment box? We finally have some college football to talk about, and I can't wait to talk about day one of the Alabama Crimson Tide. Fall camp is here. We're going to talk about it, what we learned right here on Bama Football on YouTube. I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you very much for supporting the content, liking the content. Alabama looked poised today out in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. 87 degrees, feels like 100 probably. And Alabama, it was new today that they practiced in the morning, and I actually like it because it was breathable, right? You're feeling it, but the guys look good. They're crisp. Coach Kadyn DeBoer spoke about his team. In fact, let's get to some highlights from Coach Kadyn DeBoer's press conference. This is from earlier on Wednesday. Here's Coach Kadyn DeBoer's first press conference of fall camp. Here's Coach KD.
First practices, great energy. Guys were excited to get out there. I can't remember really many times where you had to coach up the excitement and passion. That was all there. These guys have worked hard. We're excited about practice one. So, always going to be far from perfect, but each side had its moments and, made plays, and that's what you want. I love being the head coach in those times, right? Because the assistants, they want every play to be perfect. And so, they win half, they lose half the time. I get to win all the time because I just choose the side that wins on that play. But no, it's good having that give and take. And, I felt that's what we had. And, just welcome to the South, right? For me in particular, just practice and a little bit warmer than the rest of the summer. It hit us here with practice one. So guys grinded through it. I thought actually they kept getting stronger as the day went on, which is what you want to see. And, they kept their spirits high through the very last rep.
Kevin, for a guy like Ryan Williams, what was going to be key for him through these preseason practices to develop so he can be ready to play at this level?
Yeah, consistently just in this trajectory on up. I don't need him day one. I mean, you want every play to be amazing, explosive, but you just want him lining up right, doing the fundamental things, making the easy plays. And then, because of his ability, the big ones will come. So, when your route's on air, run a good route, catch the ball, accelerate out with good ball security, and you find those consistent fundamentals, and, you stack days, and those plays that we know he'll be capable of making will happen.
What have you seen?
When you have a player like Ryan Williams, as dynamic as he is, he's just a freshman. I think he's still 17 years old. What's amazing about him and what's remarkable, and when you see highlights of him, he's number 2, by the way. He's just a freshman. He just got here during the summertime. And to hear coaches talk about him in this limelight is impressive to me. I'm sure it's impressive to you as well. To think about a 17-year-old coming over here, playing with guys like Jalen Milroe, Deontay Lawson, and being able to be mature enough to understand your place within the system, but also be good enough to make some plays. I mean, I saw some highlights of him catching the ball, turning it upfield, making people miss, and I get it. It's on air. It's not full pads right now at this point in time, but still, when you got it, you got it. And we've watched enough college football to understand when you have it, you just absolutely have it. By the way, there's number 74, Kadyn Proctor. We're going to talk about him right now, actually. And let's talk about that offensive line that's coming into the season with, I wouldn't say hype. I just think high expectations. And the expectations should be high for Alabama's offensive line every single year. Last year, let's face it, the offensive line wasn't what it could be. And I think that led to ultimately Alabama not winning a national championship. Sure, you could point the finger on a lot of different places. I think a lot of it stemmed from the offensive line. So going into today's practice, you actually had Elijah Pritchett working at the left tackle position, and at the right tackle position, you had Wilcom Formby. So look, in my opinion, and I think yours as well, we all know that Kadyn Proctor probably going to have to work up to that spot to be able to be the first team starting left tackle. And I think he should. There's no entitlement. You just don't come here and take over your spot. He transferred to Iowa. He's got to come back, and he did. He came out and he said, look, I have to be accountable. Grass isn't greener. I'm ready to get practicing. So the first offensive line read like this from left to right. You got Elijah Pritchett at left tackle. You had Tyler Booker, who looks fantastic. Parker Brailsford, the transfer in at center from Washington. And then you have Jaden Roberts. And then next to him, you have Welcome Formby. I think that's a really solid offensive line. If Alabama has to play that first game this coming Saturday, I think Alabama runs for as many yards as they want to with the running back like this, or running back like Justice Haynes, who, by the way, was taking first-team reps, and we're going to talk about that right now. So I think the offensive line is capable to be better instantly. And I think a lot of that has to do with Coach Kapilovic. Good shot right here of Coach Kalen DeBoer working with the bags. He was actually rushing the quarterbacks. Love it. He's an offensive coach, but here he is, working as a defensive coach. So today, the backfield read like this. You had Justice Haynes, Jam Miller, getting work. And then, of course, Richard Young, Daniel Hill, Kevin Riley. This running back room, ultra talented. There's Nick Sheridan right here, the offensive coordinator for Alabama. Ultra talented. And I think when you look to top tandems in the country, you probably have the Ohio State tandem up there, but Alabama's tandem should certainly be right there. And Justice Haynes, whether you have him as number one or you have him as number two. And the thing is, don't get caught up on who's actually starting, because look, if a great example of this is if you've played this new college football NCAA game, right? You understand that there's different packages, right? You just don't have to have a number one starter. So, for example, Justice Haynes could be number one in this particular formation, and then you have Jam Miller number one in this particular formation. Whatever package that Alabama goes with is going to be ultra talented at the running back position. And I keep saying it again and again. You cannot forget and you cannot sleep on a player like Richard Young. I think he's just that talented as a player. So I love the running back room. Again, Justice Haynes getting first team reps. I wouldn't buy into it. I just think that Alabama has more than just a first team running back. I think it's kind of just a tandem that's going to be ultra electric for sure. One of the things that stood out to me, and we'll keep talking about the offense here for a second, and I want to get your opinion on this, and maybe it doesn't matter, maybe it does, and we're talking about the quarterback room right now. Not talking about Jalen Milroe or Ty Simpson, who's, by the way, the number 2 quarterback, but we're talking about the number 3 quarterback, just for a second, okay? Is it Austin Mack or is it Dylan Lonergan? I saw a lot of reports today that it was Austin Mack who was taking the number 1 or the third team reps, and he was working with the third team running back. Again, this is the first day of practice, but I also saw this during springtime. So, look, Austin Mack is a very capable quarterback. I think that he has a tremendous amount of upside. Good clip right here of these running backs, man. God, they look so good, so talented. That's Justice Haynes. These guys working in the back. There's Robert Gillespie working with man, I'm telling you, this running back room, Jam Miller. I just cannot wait to see these guys get going this coming season, man. 1,000-yard back. I personally don't think that they're going to have a 1,000-yard running back. But they might. Here's Danny Lewis right here, number 87. So anyways, Austin Mack, I feel that he is a 13 quarterback right now. I feel that he's a little bit more talented than Dylan Lonergan. I know that's a big statement, so I want to get your feedback on that. What do you guys think regarding Austin Mack, Dylan Lonergan, and kind of the future of Alabama's quarterback? Look, they also have Keelan Russell, who is committed to this team. He's a 5-star consensus who's been lights out as well. Let's talk about the defense, man. Look, this defense, they got to be chomping at the bit. You got, a new defensive coordinator in Kane Womack, who, by the way, was wearing a sweatshirt. Hey, look, it's hot, but these coaches, they want to get it. And the defensive line working with Freddie Roach, I think when you look to guys and you kind of spotlight kind of the vets, you have Jamir Latham, you have Tim Keenan, 2 guys that I'm just elated to see kind of grow into this veteran role, and I think they're ready to take that on. Jahiem Oatis, as Coach Kalen DeBoer said, was very close during the springtime to being healthy. He's now back out there. I don't think he's 100%, but maybe close to it, I think. But this defensive line, one of the guys that everybody was talking about, and we talked about it in the spring, is Keon Keeley. Being moved to that bandit position. He's massive. I've been saying he's massive for a long. I saw him. I stood right next to him at the Rose Bowl. He's gigantic. And I think, look, overall, I think long term, if he's patient, and Yanzi Pierre, if he's patient too, these are going to be future NFL-type guys that will flourish for the Alabama Crimson Tide. Again, this footage courtesy of the University of Alabama. The Crimson Tide held its first practice today here in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Alabama now practicing in the morning time as opposed to practicing in the evening time. That's something that they did with Coach Saban. But Keon Keeley looks the part, is the part, will be the part, and will be ready when his name is called. Deontay Lawson, Jahiem Campbell working with the first team inside linebackers. I think when you talk top tandems, you have 3 top tandems on Alabama's team. Justice Haynes, Jam Miller at the running back position. You have Jaden Roberts, Tyler Booker at the guard position, and you have Deontay Lawson and Jahiem Campbell inside linebacker position. I think that is just going to be a really big and lethal combo in terms of guys who play the position and can play it at a very high level. There was some interesting quotes that Coach Kadyn DeBoer also spoke about when talking about his team. One was talking about Coach Kadyn Proctor. And by the way, let me read out the second team offensive line. Okay, so Kadyn Proctor working with the second team. And when Coach Kadyn DeBoer spoke about Kadyn Proctor, he said, "It feels like he's in really good shape." And I think we've all agreed that when we've seen Kadyn Proctor, he looks like he's shed probably, 30 pounds. I haven't seen an updated height and weight on him, but he talked about the strength and the explosive numbers are up and loves the demeanor of him. I like that. I think Kadyn Proctor is going to have a monster season. So here's how the second team offensive line looks. So you had Kadyn Proctor, Olas Allen working at that guard position, Rock Montgomery, Gino Vandermark, who's a transfer in from Michigan State, and then you also have McVay on the right tackle position. Don't sleep on McVay. He's an absolute giant. Coach Kadyn DeBoer also spoke about the secondary, and I think out of all of the positions at the University of Alabama, the secondary probably is one where there's the most question marks. Now, of course, you have Malachi Moore, you have a veteran like Devontae Smith, but you have some new guys coming in. And while we've talked about Damani Jackson, while we've talked about other guys who are now embedded within the defensive secondary, including a lot of these freshmen, there's still a lot of names. So Coach Kadyn DeBoer said in regards to Cam Howard, King Mack, Deshaun Jones, I love their energy. I love their effort. They've meshed well with the team. Now it's about getting them reps and comfortable. And I think this is a key point that we have to emphasize on throughout the entire month of August is getting those guys comfortable. And they are going to be challenged right from the jump, whether it's Western Kentucky, whether it's South Florida, right? Whether it's your third game against Wisconsin, against Georgia, or against Vanderbilt. I know you're gonna blow the pants off Vanderbilt. What I'm saying, all of those quarterbacks, what they have in common is they have a quarterback that has a lot of experience. Okay, so those guys need to be acclimated. They need to get ready because they are going to be tested. And this season, more than any season, I think we have to get used to something, and it's this. Look. All teams in college football, not only Alabama, Georgia included, Texas included, all the big dogs, you're going to get punched in the mouth, and you're going to need to dig down within your depth chart and be able to get high level of performance from those players. That's something that Coach Saban always spoke about, is a high level of performance when your name is called on. So just because you might not be getting the reps right now doesn't mean you're not going to be getting the reps later. I can't wait to see these guys continue to work, continue to flourish. But I think the big news items of today, when I think about news items, I think about Ryan Williams. He certainly looked the part. As a freshman, catching balls, turning heads, getting some high praise from Coach Kadyn DeBoer. The first press conference, Jalen Milroe, polished, poised, running that quarterback room. Can't wait to see him explode in this type of offense with these schematics. And I think that Nick Sheridan is going to do a really good job working with Jalen Milroe. Can't wait to see those two continue to mesh together and work on their craft going into the season. Coach KD acting like a pass rusher and having fun with it. I love his energy and his aura and how he kind of just leads with, a genuine approach. He doesn't have the straw hat. He talked about that. He's got the baseball hat on and the shirt on. He's coach, man. That's your coach now. So definitely support him. The defensive intensity, it's there. You're going to continue to see that. But I want to see that defense versus the offense, because this is where you not only come together as a group, but you start to really compete, and iron sharpens iron. So you need to continue to see that play. I heard that Kendrick Law looks like an absolute beast. And obviously, you've seen big things from these running backs. So as we put a cap on day one. I appreciate you guys watching the content, liking, subscribing, and just kind of going over these highlights. I mean, you can see, we're seeing the tight ends right here. They're ready. Don't sleep on a CJ Dupree. Don't forget about some of those lethal tight ends, or like an H-back like my man Robbie Oots right there. You know, it's crazy to think that a tight end like that, 260 pounds, be doing work. And then the big guys right there, man. Tim Keenan, man. Nothing but respect for you, man. I know you're going to have a really big season. And other guys, on the defensive line as well, just bringing the energy and new names. Maybe a James Smith has a really big season. I don't know. I think this team is absolutely ready. Hey, fam, my name is Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube. I appreciate you guys being here. I appreciate you guys watching the content, liking, subscribing, and rocking and rolling with me as we get going right here on Bama Football on YouTube. The 2024 season is here. You can smell it. You can taste it. This is fall camp coverage. My name is Kyle Henderson. Like, subscribe, and I'll be back with another video, or as news happens, right here on Bama Football on YouTube. See you guys. Love you guys.